Hi, and welcome back to Bill's Cichlid room. As it's getting towards the end of the month, I thought it's probably time to go around and do a video blog on what's been happening in the fish room during May. Before I get started on the tour, if you haven't already, please do subscribe and press the bell notification if you want to be informed of when I next put the video up. It does really help me. I'm up to about 140 subscribers at the moment. A long way to go towards the 1,000, but I'm slowly getting there. Right, first off is the Costa Rican tank. Not really much happening in this tank this month. As some of you may have seen, I did the species profile on the tuber. Unfortunately, a couple of days after doing the video, one of the tuber passed away, and one of the other ones, it was hiding and stopped eating, so I've actually taken it out the tank and put it in another one to try and get its strength back. So there's only one tuber left in this tank. Phrygides passionis, they're doing well. Hopefully we should have some breeding activity off them before too long. The Nicolacagwen's still doing well, and the Amphilophus mineri, they're still doing well. It's probably near time when they're starting to breed again. As you probably know from previous videos, like that they've taken over this pot here, so this is where they do all the spawning. Swordtails, they're doing well. They're just a bit of fish in this tank. The next tank down is the rainbow cichlid tank and the Paratilapia lewiselli. Well, Fenestratus as we all know, but we're going to call them lewiselli for now to save getting ourselves confused. They're growing on really well, still all 6 of them. I did notice this month the Buenos Aires tetras that I had in the tank, they've all disappeared, which is probably explained why the lewiselli are growing well. Still a bit early for me to sex yet, but as I say, there's half a dozen of them in here, so hopefully we will get a few pairs. I did thin out some of the rainbow cichlids, took those out the tank. So I think I'm left with 6 in here now, so there's the 6 rainbow cichlids and the 6 lewiselli. The next tank along is the Polleni tank. So the Polleni, they actually did lay eggs a couple of days ago, so I'll put some footage in just after this. Unfortunately, the eggs did get ate after a day or two, and since then the female's actually been hiding a lot, which quite often happens after a failed spawning. Oh, there she is here. She's at the side of the pot. The male, he seems to have chilled out a little bit at the moment. He's not quite as aggressive as he normally is. They actually laid on the bogwood here at the back, and then interestingly, when I come down the next day, they had actually moved the eggs, which I thought was interesting. They actually moved them over here. this is Steph's grow out tank for dolphin cichlids, Alnacara Reuben reds, and the yellow ones in here are it's 6 Carulius that she actually bought at the Greater Manchester table show last weekend. She's put them in here to grow on a little bit. To save on the noise, I've actually turned the air pump off. I've had a couple of comments that you couldn't hear what I was saying because of the noise of the air pump. So the Alnacara are growing up well. Again, still a bit too young to sex at the moment, but hopefully there will be a good mix of male and females. The dolphins, they're about 2 inches now. We did actually put some of the dolphins in the table show at the Greater Manchester event last weekend. So quite a few of them did sell actually, which was good. This tank's looking a bit empty at the moment. I did strip it down to catch some fish for the Greater Manchester event. I've actually sold, it's a male and 2 female of the Polleni, and I've kept older 1 female as a spare. So the only other fish in this tank, there's the redhead tapperjass, there's a couple of cutterai that will grow out, the Corydorus duplicaris, they're in here. So what I plan to do on this is actually put some more rocks in, do a little bit of aquascaping. Probably move the Geophagus into the other Central American tank that we'll have a look at in a minute, which will free this tank up for some of the fish that I've got on order from Max Cichlids through Predator Aquatics. Right, this one, which was my South American tank, it's got the 2 pairs of chocolates in there. As you may have seen in one of my previous videos, one of the pairs of chocolates actually did spawn this month, and they actually spawned in this pot here, and then once the eggs hatched, they actually moved them into this pot. I did manage to siphon some off, but it wasn't that many. There's only about 10 of them, 10 to 15 of them. But the Geophagus syrimensis, they're growing on well, so I've had them just over 6 months now. So they must be about 4 inches, probably 5 inches if you include the tail. The other fish in here is some of the West African buffalo heads and the Tianti, the lion heads, which was Steph, so she's moved them out of the tank that we have in the living room. They were getting a little bit big in there. There's a lot of small fish in there. Yeah, so she put them in here. Unfortunately, there's 3 of the buffalo heads, but they're all males, and 2 of the Tianti, which are both males as well. They've settled in here quite well. They're not really aggressive fish. And as we've mentioned before, this tank's quite chilled out. So what I'm planning to do is put the Geophagus redheads in here as well. So they are starting to get some real nice colours, the syrimensis now. And when you catch them in the right light, the colours really pop on them. Real strange profile on these ones. They actually don't have a proper swim bladder, so what they do is they actually stay there at the bottom or perch on the rocks. It's something a little bit different. Yeah, chocolate cichlids, like fighting over areas again. Trust them to do that after me saying that this is a chilled out tank. Right, this one's one of the small tanks. It's got a pair of Cichlid in there that I've just picked up. So I'll do a species profile on those during the next week. And it's got the Amatilea Altiflorus in there as well. unfortunately they haven't showed any signs of breeding. They're probably the right size. They haven't showed any signs at all. So there's a trio in there. There's a male and 2 females. And there's the big female. You can tell with the spot in the dorsal. There's the big male and the smaller female. I'll probably move these over into a different tank and give them a little bit more room. The tank is a bit small for them really. So in this tank we've got another pair of the Nicaraguenses. There's 2 pairs of the Cutterai, the Neotropilus, so they're fry from past spawnings. And there should be the Cuban Cichlid as well in here, which you can't spot at the moment. He's normally there or thereabouts. Yeah, there he is. I say he, could be a she. Stands got some nice colours. So the Neotropilus, they've not bred for a couple of months now, probably because I left some of the fry in. But yeah, they normally spawn in a clump of rocks. The Nicaraguenses, they're getting a decent size now. So that's the male. And here comes the female. Sorry about the glare on this tank. So this is just a grow out tank really. This is where I moved some of the rainbows. So I did take some of them to Greater Manchester on Sunday. But unfortunately they didn't all sell, so when I brought them back, this is the tank that they went into. There's also a couple of the Neotropilus in here as well that didn't sell. And the Cuban Cichlids, so there's still 6 of those in here. Still a bit small to sex poor, but like they are putting on a bit of size. Yeah, so there's 6 of those in here altogether. Yeah, so what I'm planning to do during the next few weeks, I will move those over into the tank with the Lewisselli and keep an eye on them, make sure they're getting on all right. This tank's just one of the other grow out tanks, so there's a few different species in here. There's some of the Paratilapia mineri, which are really slow growing actually. There's a load of Cutterai, as you can see, Neotropilus, and the Geophagus standectori. There's a load of that fry in here as well. So there is quite a lot of fish in this tank. It's due a water change. I normally do a water change on these tanks like 2 or 3 times a week. I think it's been 4 days now, so they are due one. Like the Fenestratus, you might remember I did a video earlier in the month on the Fenestratus, and the female, the normal coloured female, which was looking in a bad way. She was, well, it looked to me as if she was actually getting picked on by all the fry that was feeding off her. Unfortunately, I did lose her. So what I did in this tank, because there's the pair of the pink ones, they were picking on the male of the normal coloration. So I put the divider in. There's the lone male here. I put the divider in, and I did try putting the female pink one in with the male one, but she battered him, so I had to take him out again. So I put the pink male back in, and within 24 hours they'd actually laid eggs again. So yeah, there's more fry of the Fenestratus. This is the female one. She's probably the most aggressive fish that I've got. She seems to get on well with the male, but yeah, he does spend a lot of time hiding in the back as well. And the last thing to show you, which is probably the most exciting for me this week, is the hogas. There's the male, as big as ever. So I've got the divider in with the hole in the divider. But the female, she actually laid eggs last night. So she was laying eggs for about 2 hours. Let's see if we can get a close-up of all the eggs on the rock. So the whole rock is full of eggs. She's actually got a nice pink colour. And so she's actually guarding the rock for nothing. So hopefully some of them are fertilised. When I was watching them, unfortunately the male didn't really seem interested. I'm just hoping that while I wasn't watching, he did actually fertilise some. But yeah, it will be great if these actually do have some viable eggs. Yeah, so I'll put some footage on of her spawning last night. So that's about it for May. Yeah, so a couple of spawnings. Unfortunately, the Polleni spawn wasn't successful. The chocolate cichlids, a bit disappointing. Only managed to get a few fry off them. The hogas, I'm hoping. Only time will tell, but I will keep you informed with those. Yeah, managed to move a few fish on, thin down some of the tanks. Looking forward to June when the Max Cichlids import comes into Predator Aquatics. So if you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time.